I speak a lot about how you need to question everything, and I say how I've had to question everything all my life, pretty much all the time. And so I figured I should explain why should you question everything. Because you get a deeper understanding is the short answer, but a longer answer is that if you were to question something and then you thought about that question consciously, and came up with different scenarios or reasons why, or understandings of what that is, what the answer would be, what the reason or what the reality of that question is, then you get you can get an idea of how your unconscious or non-conscious mind would take that question and process it and run it through all the things it wants to run it through, to figure that out as well. The difference there, though, is that the non-conscious mind is going to be able to do it a lot deeper, faster, wider, however you can describe the level that it goes to, more than your conscious mind can do. Your conscious mind is limited by, like I said, there's that non-physical type of part to all of us that people seem to argue about, and so whatever that is that's what's going to limit your conscious mind. Fears and actions and experiences and behaviors and things of that throughout your physical experience. That's gonna limit your conscious mind, because whatever that extra part of us is that determines how our brains process and run those experiences and our understandings of them. That's going to determine your conscious level of your questioning of your questions that you ask, and so that will limit your answers and your rightness or truth or deepness or whatever you want to describe the levels. And so even if you don't do it consciously, if you just question something and you see something and you figure, ask a couple questions: how did that get there? Why is that there? How did I get here? What did I just see? That type of things, just to confirm in your mind everything that you just experienced. Then even if you don't ponder that consciously right then, because you're moving on through your physical world and you've got the next thing moving and the next thing happening and this coming at you and that going this way and everything, that you do, that your conscious mind has to handle and take in and process to be able to continue the physical, movements and processes that we do in this physical reality, then you end up still being able to process it through your non-conscious, because your non-conscious is still going to take that information in and do what it's going to do with it. So even if your conscious mind doesn't do anything with it when you question something, it will still work in your non-conscious mind. And so if you make it a habit to question everything, then that's when you're training your conscious mind to continue on questioning things. So some people question everything all the time, and they can be kind of a pain to be around. And then some people don't question anything any of the time, and they can also be kind of a pain to be around. So everybody has to find their own balance of where they feel, comfortable questioning what they want, and how far they want to consciously go into those questions, or if they just want to leave it all up for the non-conscious mind, and then later on try to figure out why the non-conscious mind is telling you this, or how come I knew this, or what, and then everybody making up things because they didn't pay attention or follow or understand or whatever beforehand. And so it's just a weird thing that people deal with. So I can't say too much about it more right now, because it's just so interesting and confusing that unless you followed what I just said, I don't know that it would make a lot of sense. because there's so much to our brains that happens to where our conscious mind doesn't even pay attention. They call it motor, the different motor, the kind that you think about and the kind that you don't. I don't remember the terms right now because I wasn't planning on talking about this part, but it's the same way. You don't really think about breathing and your heart pumping and stuff like that. You just do it. But you're going to think about grabbing that cupcake or that glass of milk or something, or those types of differences. That's kind of how the non-conscious mind works with the conscious mind. So if you can understand how the two kind of, or however many levels you want to put in there of consciousness, but basically the conscious and the non-conscious is how I'm speaking of it. And so if you can kind of understand and that's a very important part too. People put the different levels because there's that transitions that you're always going through between the different levels of consciousness and non-consciousness and semi-consciousness and super-consciousness and hyper-consciousness, subconsciousness, unconsciousness, all those different levels that people put and label and then argue about and stuff. But you still need to go through those transitions, and yes, that's true, but that's why it's even more important to question everything, because as you're going through those transitions, if you just tune out half of it because you're used to tuning out weird stuff because that's what you do in your physical reality, then you're going to tune out that same kind of things during the transition, and you're just gonna fall asleep and lose it. And if you're not questioning things all the time, then you won't get it until after you wake back up again. And you might remember it or parts of it, or have a feeling about it or something weird about it, but you weren't there when it happened. And that's the whole issue, I guess. Is getting into that lucid state of the non-conscious dream world or non-physical realm that your mind experiences. And that's what a lot of people yearn for and try, and now they're starting to study and everything, and so it's pretty amazing. But anyways, on that note, good night and lucid dreams.